country back. We're dying left and right. They're gonna kill us. Take your country back.
You are fake news. Go ahead.
Welcome to FLT All Things Truth, episode, what is this, 5?
6.
Episode 6. Look at that. We're rolling right through. It's been 6 weeks already. Dude, this week's been crazy. I don't even know.
There's so much to dive into.
There's so much to do. I don't even know how to take notes on all this stuff. So let's take it off with the quote of the day. Quote of the week.
We'll start with the quote of the week. Quote of the week is, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And that quote comes from Benjamin Franklin. And it's a powerful quote.
Classic.
And it really applies to what's going on in the world today, because so many people are willing to just hand over their freedoms and their liberties just because they're a little bit scared of COVID and they want the government to take care of them and they want to be safe. Problem with that is, once you give the government, you give up your liberties, you're never going to get them back.
Yeah, you can't go back after that.
Yeah, there's no going back after that.
Once you give an inch, they want a mile, too.
Absolutely. So, very powerful quote, very, very, current to what's going on in the world today. All right, and then next, we'll do the fail of the week.
Fail of the week. And our... Hold on, it's not that hard. All right. Let's do the fail of the week next.
Fail of the week is Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers. Tony Evers, as you know, Wisconsin is where the Jacob Blake shooting happened and the ensuing riots. And Wisconsin needed 750 people, law enforcement, to handle the riots. They got 250 in. They're 500 short. Trump calls up Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers and says, I'd like to help. I'll send you 500 National Guard. And Tony Evers refused. So, epic fail. Who knows if they would have had enough manpower? Who knows if a lot of this stuff would ever happened?
People in his state are pissed off right now.
I would hope so. I mean, they should be.
They're saying...
That's awesome.
I love this thing. I'm going to be using this a lot.
Yeah. And then now on a happier note, let's go to the heroes of the week.
Heroes of the week comes Atlanta, Georgia. Big news here. The QAnon people are going crazy right now. They feel vindicated because 39 children just got saved by the U.S. Marshals in a child sex trafficking ring. The youngest was 3 years old. How sick. How sick do you have to be?
Yeah, and that was a concerted, it was a sting. The men and women of the U.S. Marshals are truly heroes. I mean, they saved all those children, 39 children, one of them being 3 years old. They arrested 9 people, and these were not good people. They all had records: sex trafficking, parental kidnapping, drugs, weapons. A lot of them were registered sex offenders. So these were really, really bad people. And so they're truly the men and women of the U.S. Marshals, very, very heroic. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal.
That, we joke about QAnon because they're pretty Alex Jonesy and whatnot. But this is real. This isn't a conspiracy. This is real. And everybody's rioting right now. We're going to get into that, too. We're going to get into Kenosha, and it's just a second. I got a caller waiting right now. But this is right in the midst of all this defund the police. We're seeing a huge win by police, law enforcement, marshals coming and saving children.
Yeah, and everybody hates the police. Everybody hates law enforcement right now. But all they do is help. I mean, there's some bad apples in the bunch, but for the vast majority of them, they're truly protecting us. They're saving people. They're saving children's lives. I mean, I don't even want to imagine what would happen to those 39 children if the U.S. Marshals didn't save them.
I just want to say real quick before we get into the riots, all you people out there that think you're cool, listen to NWA and F the police, and I don't call the police, I don't snitch. 99% of you, if someone comes into your house in the middle of the night, you're calling the cops.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yeah, everybody, all these people hate the cops.
You say that now until something happens to you, you're going to call the cops.
And they'll call the cops immediately.
Yep.
And a lot of these same people that supposedly hate the cops and these liberals, they don't like guns either. Well, wait, if you don't want police and you don't like guns, you don't have the police to protect you, and you can't protect yourself.
Just like the Antifa kids, when they saw their friend get shot, what did they do? Cops, help us, cops, help us.
They're immediately crying.
They immediately want the cops to
and
help
we're gonna dive into that pretty deeply with the Jacob Blake shooting with the police, and then also the ensuing riots that all started because of Jacob Blake. So do you want to call up
we got
our
a
caller?
Let's do that.
There, right there, you can see the car. This was taped on an old graph calculator.
Right.
Look,
On the
that's
ground.
him on the ground, and the cops trying to restrain him right there. See? 2 cops trying to restrain him. On this side of the car, he gets up out of the restraint and starts walking around.
Yeah.
Mom, you have to get back.
Wow.
So we just watched the Jacob Blake video, but not the one CNN showed. We watched the full-length video, the real video, not the doctored one with him just getting shot like he was an innocent man doing nothing. We watched the video of him resisting arrest for his warrant, on the ground fighting with police, getting up, running away, and completely ignoring cops with guns drawn to him, reaching into his car and then getting shot. He didn't even die, by the way. People think he's dead, but he didn't die. What do you think about that?
No, he was paralyzed from the waist down.
What do you think about that?
So I mean, so here's my thought process on the whole thing. It's very controversial.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. When you get into first and foremost, when the video starts, even the clip that CNN showed and all those left-wing liars showed, because that's what they are. They're left-wing liars. That's all they do is lie.
Yeah, you're right.
They can't tell
They can't tell
the truth
right.
to save their life.
Right.
Make a long story short, when they start showing the video, it starts off with, number one, the reason the cops wanted to apprehend him is because he was wanted on a warrant for raping a 14-year-old girl. You guys are aware of that,
Yes.
right?
Yep,
I'm aware of
sexual
that.
assault on a minor. Yep.
So it's not like he was, baking a cake, okay? This guy was a hardened criminal. He raped a young girl, and they were trying to apprehend him. That's number one. Now, I understand he was trying to break up a fight. I got news for you,
That's
bud.
not true, Joe.
You don't have to. It doesn't matter. Even if it wasn't true. If he was trying to break up a fight, you don't need to do that. We have cops that do that. That's
Right.
what your tax dollars are used for. So even if it wasn't true or it is true, he didn't need to be there. But he was there to assault his wife, from what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
He was there because of a restraining order that he was breaking, correct? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right about that.
Yeah, the girl, he stole her keys, wouldn't give them back. She called the police on him, said he's not supposed to be here. He took my keys, he won't give them back. And so
Yep.
the 911 operator called the cops, gave the name, ran the name through the system, said that he had a warrant. And
Yep.
so they showed up, and obviously they tried to arrest him because he had open warrants. And
Yep.
they
It didn't work out too well.
they tried to tase him. So people that say, well, why didn't they try and tase him? They tried to tase him. The taser failed. They tried to wrestle him to the ground and cuff him, and he threw the cops off of him. And then that's when you see him walking around the car. And
And then on top of that, not to cut you off, but the cop is literally pulling him by the shirt.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the most non-violent way to try to restrain somebody, I don't know what else is. Like, they tried everything to get this guy. But let's go fast forward to the end of the video, okay? Now, we got to remember something. This cop probably has a family at home, whether it be a wife or a husband or a daughter or a sister, whatever the case may be. He has a family at home that he wants to get back to.
Right.
Okay, this guy gets into his car. He gets in head first. That is the key. He gets into his car head first. Now, when you're trying to get into your car, you put your legs in first, right? Not
You
your
don't-
head.
Yeah.
So
You're
when you
reaching
put
for
your head
something.
in first, what is usually the intention?
Grab something.
You're trying to grab something.
Yeah.
That is the sole reason
And if
why
you're a
the
cop,
shot him.
and Joe, and if you're a cop, you can't take the risk to see if he's just grabbing his license. We'll just see what happens. Because if you see
No,
what
you can't
happens,
take that
if you see what happens, you're dead.
Exactly.
If you're wrong, you're dead.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't know. If he turns around with a gun
if
and you wait, you're dead.
And if you don't think that happens, do some research, read something. It happens all the time. Cops get
Yeah.
killed all the time.
I want to jump.
Every week,
I want to jump in and make one big point. I don't know if you saw the newest angle, Joe, from across the street, but he clearly has something in his hand, which looks like a karambit knife. It's something with a curved, looks like a curved blade. And if you listen to the audio, the cops that are pursuing him, they're from behind, they're saying, drop the knife, drop the knife. So we don't know for sure because the video is grainy, but it definitely looks like a curved karambit knife. And they're saying, drop the knife. So I'm assuming he had it in his hand the whole time. And that's when I think once they did shoot him, that's when he dropped it in the car. And that's when they found it in the car. So whether he was already had the knife or he's reaching for the knife, either way, they already tried non-lethal. They tried to wrestle him to the ground. They tried to tase him. They had no other options at that point but to fire. And people say, well, they shot too many times. They shot 7. Well, they're taught if they discharge their weapon, they're supposed to shoot to kill. They're not supposed to, they don't say, shoot twice and then stop.
And you know what? Here's the thing, and if in the police officer's defense, you got to imagine what was going through his head. Like, am I going home tonight if this guy pulls something out of this car? Am I going home tonight? Am I going to make it home to have dinner with my daughter or my son?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I agree with him. I agree with
you. Think that he's counting how many bullets came out of his gun?
And you know what, though?
And I don't fault him for that.
These kids don't care about that. He's a pig. He's a bad guy. He's a Nazi. He's a white supremacist. That's what they think. They don't care about his family. They don't care who he is. All they know is Black Lives Matter and he's a cop.
And they don't look at everything in hindsight.
I'm not saying I agree. No, I totally I'm just telling you what's going on right now.
Do you think that these kids would care about any? No. They're calling Trump supporters fascists, and they don't even know the definition of a fascist.
No, I know. They have no idea. They think fascism means right wing. That's what that's. If you go online, Wikipedia says fascism is right wing. That's what it says.
That's fine. They could say that all they want.
Yeah, I know. Fascism is direct control by central government. That's what it is. That's fascism.
But here's the thing. Let's look at the similarities between a fascist and Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
Do we not remember the Night of Broken Glass?
Right.
What was that? The riots in the street when they were burning books.
1933, I believe.
Shops, destroying shops, burning books, killing anybody that disagreed with them.
Right.
Cancel culture.
Yep.
Anybody that that didn't believe in what they believed in, they were evil.
Right.
We're living in Adolf Hitler's time, and it's 2020.
And a side note,
Joe, did you know that CNN right now, if you go to what they're saying about Jacob Blake, they have a picture of his grandfather, Reverend Jacob Blake. It's like a picture of a grandfather, like he's like Martin Luther King type-esque. Like they're showing, like they're portraying this. It's like they want people to go out. They want people to go out and riot right now. They're pushing that narrative.
Well,
I know.
The mainstream media narrative, since this first came out, they showed only him walking to his car and the cops shooting him. And they said that he was there, he was being a good Samaritan, he was breaking up 2 women fighting. We now know that was all a lie.
Good Samaritans rape little girls.
The cops were called there for him. He had open warrants. He resisted arrest. You look at the media narrative and you look at what actually happened, and they couldn't be further from each other. Like, one is just complete nonsense and a lie, and then you actually see all the facts, and you're like, these cops did try and tase him. They did try and wrestle him to the ground. They told him to drop the knife. They told him to stop resisting. They tried everything they could so that they didn't have to shoot him.
Yeah.
Justin, not for nothing, hands up, don't shoot never happened.
No, I know.
That was put in a court of law.
Yeah,
hands up, don't shoot, never happened.
The media lies nonstop, and anything that doesn't fit their narrative, they don't show. Anything that doesn't fit their narrative, they just lie and change. It's unbelievable.
These people now, our country is under attack by globalist foreign policy. So the United Nations, they want to be the arm. They want every country to be an arm for them. United States, France, UK. They won't let UK go. Brexit, all that. So they want right now their control us through the media and Hollywood and through culture. And how they do that is they want the people to think it's cool to hate their country. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
Right now it's cool to hate America. It's cool to burn a flag. It's cool to kill a cop. That's what's cool.
As far as I'm concerned, last time I checked, when you're burning buildings and you're killing people because of their beliefs,
Yeah.
that, in my opinion, is the definition of fascism.
Yes.
And
What about David Dorn?
That's the. I mean, I'm just shocked. Shocked at the America that my children, have to grow up in.
Yeah.
Not to mention the lies that the left has portrayed against our president.
Yeah.
Is not even funny.
It's unbelievable.
I mean,
the impeachment and everything.
I mean, you can go as far back as 2016.
Right.
This man, prior to running for the presidency of the United States, was given an award by Reverend Al Sharpton.
It's funny now. It's funny
for
now.
his civil service with the black community.
I know.
And now all of a sudden he's a racist.
Right.
He was
because he's a
beloved.
Republican?
Same thing with the LGBT. He was known as the first Republican person to be pro LGBT. They said that about him, and that was during the primaries. Now the same people, the same journalists, quote unquote, are saying that he's attacking LGBT. Name one thing he said to attack LGBTQ.
Same newspaper.
Name one thing he
3
said
years
that
apart,
attacks them.
complete
You know what they'll say?
opposites.
They'll say, "Oh, he said that they can't join the military." Well, you know what? Flatfoot can't join the military too. You know what I'm saying? People with if you have a flat foot, if you have any medical anything, you can't join the military.
Yeah.
So that's what that means. It's not attacking anybody.
There's a reason behind that. You know that, right?
Yes.
So the reason why Trump said that LGBTQ people or trans people can't join the military is because the narrative was pushed that if they join the military, that their surgeries would be paid for by the American taxpayer.
Which they will.
Now, I'm not against trans people in any way, shape, or form. You are okay to do what you want.
Go ahead. I'm a libertarian. I don't care. Okay. It's your life.
You're okay to do what you want. I do not hold any malice towards anybody, towards what they want to do. If they want to feel happy, go ahead. But should not be done on the American taxpayer's back.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. Do what you want, but I'm not paying for it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And that's
really what it comes down to.
Yeah. I've never seen somebody so beloved before he ran for president, and now he is the worst, most awful person in the world. And
I know.
Their whole party, they don't even talk about policy anymore. They don't talk about anything except Trump is a bad, bad man.
Yeah, and
Trump is a bad, bad man, and Joe Biden's a nice guy.
I want to talk about Kenosha real quick, too. They literally blew up an entire car dealership. Every single car on fire blew up. The whole dealership's gone. Buildings, black owners of buildings, of businesses, totally destroyed. Talk about Black Lives Matter. Remember David Dorn a month ago was trying to defend a business in the city?
I think it was.
He got shot and killed.
Yep.
What about, he's a black. That's a black life, right?
His wife actually spoke at the RNC.
Yeah.
And if you would have watched,
I saw it, Joe. I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
You want to know why? You want to know why I had tears in my eyes? Because I actually care about Black America.
Me too.
I want them to be with us in this together. You know what I'm saying? This is our country. We're brothers in America, like sisters too. It doesn't matter what color you are.
Ben Carson said something at the RNC that really resonated with me.
Yeah.
And he said that his mother raised him to believe that he is not a victim.
Yes.
He is a proud black man, and he can achieve anything that this country has to offer.
Yeah.
And you want to know the difference between Ben Carson's achievements and those of Black Lives Matter?
What's that?
Black Lives Matter feels like they're a victim.
Yeah.
They're not.
That's the thing.
Is holding the African American community back.
You know what I'm going to say, Joe?
I have black CEOs. I have black presidents. We have black managers. We have black congressmen. Black
Judges.
Black judges.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on.
We had a black president. But you know what? Do you know what it is, Joe? Our standard of living in America has gotten so high, and the way the movies are pushed, where the victim becomes the hero at the end, it's like this mentality where it's cool to become the victim. You want to deflect anything wrong with you. Like if I do something wrong, it's someone else's fault. Victim mentality has become the cool, like the new norm. Like you have a badge of honor if you have some sort of thing pulling you back. Like, oh, okay, I'm black, I'm trans, I'm disabled, whatever it may be. Check all the boxes. The more you have, the better you are. The more badges you have. It's better to have. Yep. It's better to be disadvantaged in this country. That's what people want. It's become a badge of honor to be a victim now.
Yeah, truly has.
And now people, what they do is they become a victim. So now what's going to happen is Jacob Blake is going to start a Patreon page. He's going to give millions of dollars for the rest of his life. He's rich forever. Because that's okay. People are going to. Okay. I don't care either. That's fine. People want to support him. They have every right to support him. But I'm not talking about that in particular. I'm talking about the victim mentality. People want to say, I'm a victim. Pay for me now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I personally, the phrase Black Lives Matter, of course I agree with that. Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, awesome. I have a problem with Black Lives Matter because of their beliefs. They're Marxists, and they don't even hide it.
Yeah.
And they use that Black Lives Matter phrase.
Oh, yeah, it's a shield.
They use it as a shield.
You go against it. You don't like Black lives.
If you talk about their Marxist beliefs and how bad they are, they're going to say, oh, you're racist. So they could have used anything, and they're using that phrase Black Lives Matter as a shield.
Right.
So to hide their true intentions.
Yep.
It's just that's my issue. I 100% agree with the term and the phrase Black Lives Matter. I do not agree with Black Lives Matter Incorporated. Themselves.
I'll tell you right here, right now. The most influential people in my life have been black.
Yeah.
I had a black college professor that turned me into the Republican that I am today. I had a black supervisor that made me achieve more success at my job than I ever thought was possible because she never gave up on me and she pushed and pushed and pushed. The point I'm trying to make is that black people in the United States of America are not held back. And in my personal opinion, Black Lives Matter does not care about black lives.
Absolutely
they only care about black lives for the moment. They do not care about black lives at all.
They care about black lives that can benefit them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They say they care about black lives, but not David Dorn's. They
Right.
say they care about black lives,
but not all people got shot in Chicago this weekend.
But not all the black Republicans or all the black successful people because they're Uncle Toms. I mean, it's crazy. It's like they care about some of the black lives, only the ones that fit their narrative, and only the ones that are going to help them, push forward their agenda. If you look where the money goes, you can actually look into Black Lives Matter, where all those donations that are pouring in are going. Yeah. They're going to fund the Democratic candidates.
Yeah,
I know.
It's
and
unbelievable.
The top Democratic candidates are white.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
none of the money
ridiculous.
is going to help black people at all. It's unbelievable.
I tell people this all the time. Like, if you're black in America, you are America. You are Americana, and you are just as American as American pie.
Absolutely.
Because I'm Polish. Look, I'm Polish, Italian, and German. My ancestors got here in the 1900s. People who are black have more in common with America than I do. And I try to tell people that. Don't let this, oh, you were a slave. Oh, you were a victim. Oh, you're people of this. You're people of that. Don't let that bring you down.
Yeah.
Rise above
every
that. You don't have to be that
country
person.
In the world had slavery. America was one of the first to end it. We are the least racist country in the entire world. You know how I know that? You know how I know this is the greatest country and the least racist country in the world? Because everybody wants to come here and nobody ever leaves.
Yeah. If this country was go ahead.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, America was founded on if you're going to go back to slavery days, you're holding onto a past that doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
And listen, we cannot forget about our past. We have to live. Right. We have to know our past in order to move forward and never make the same mistakes that we made in the past.
Was anybody here a slave owner? No.
No. Not a single. Not anybody that I know was a slave owner. I mean, my family immigrated to this country in the early 1900s.
Do you know that more than 90%, Joe? More than 90% of white people in America are descendants of people who came after the English people that founded this country. Over 90%.
Yep.
So
nothing to do with the other. Even their ancestors had nothing to do with slavery.
After slavery was over, the immigration that came over, that those people make up 90% of the white people in America right now.
Bottom line is you can't hold people accountable for what their ancestors did. That doesn't make any sense. And so like we need to move forward. They're only bringing that up now because they're trying to push an agenda. And it's just, like I said, it's very frustrating to the constant lies and the constant narratives,
It's
which
just-
are always false. They're complete lies.
Well,
They're fabrications.
Let's talk about, you want to talk about fabrication. Let's talk about the Democratic Party and how they're the true racists.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, right? So first and foremost, let's talk about Margaret Sanger. Okay, Margaret Sanger is the founder of Planned Parenthood.
Yep.
She is a devout racist, like
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable, unmistakable racist.
Yeah, right. She'll tell you to your face she's a
She
racist.
studied- She studied eugenics,
Right.
like Adolf Hitler,
Yes.
to eradicate blacks from our history.
And of course, she's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Of course.
So she became a Democrat, and now Planned Parenthood is strategically placed in low-income areas where the majority of the population is black.
Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why is
They
that?
want to limit the population.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, Democrats choose to believe that black Americans need funding. They need welfare. They need government assistance.
Yeah.
They need low-income housing. They do not need that.
Right. No,
They
don't.
need
Independence.
somebody to believe in them so that they can achieve greatness.
Yeah, they need
That's
independence.
where the Republican Party comes in.
You don't. That's what I'm saying. They get what the plan is: get everybody on welfare and food stamps. And look, we're helping you. Just vote for us. Just keep voting for us, and we're going to keep helping you. We're going to keep giving you more stuff.
Yeah.
But don't get a job though. Don't own a business. Don't buy a car. Don't buy a house. Don't buy property. If you do that, we're going to cut your welfare.
Yep, and we talked about this on an earlier episode. Margaret Sanger went around and actually was going to KKK rallies and said, this is how we're going to genocide the black people. We're going to start Planned Parenthood. We're going to kill black babies. And that's how we're going to, take care of their, their rapid population growth. And then you want to talk about the Democratic Party. Who founded the KKK? The Democratic Party. Who started the welfare state? Which, if you want to talk about, you said that, the only thing holding black people back now today is that welfare program, because they can never get ahead. They can always only get by, and then they're 100% relying on the government.
Yeah.
And if you have a man and you're married in the household, they slash your benefits. If you try and better your life and get a job, they slash your benefits.
And what's happening is you got generation after generation after generation, all in public housing in the same neighborhood, and one parent household. Parents are divorced. You have no shot when that's your situation. If that's your situation, you look at that and you have no chance compared to somebody with two parents with paying jobs and own a house, access to things. Okay, so when people say that, there's truth to that. There is truth to that, but don't come and say that this is the doings of Republicans or America's fault. This is systematic racism. If you want to get into that, let's look at where these policies came from. Comes from the left.
So here's the thing, right? My toddler, she's dependent on a bottle. Okay? She constantly cries and whines for the bottle. So we recently just switched her over to a sippy cup. And it really is a fundamental thing to kind of compare to the welfare state of America. So America is constantly dependent on the bottle. And if you switch them over to the sippy cup, where nobody's going to hold it for you anymore, and nobody's going to put the milk in the cup for you anymore, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah. Do you know
they learn to drink on their own.
That's a good analogy. You want to hear another one that's just like that? Okay, so a healthy society is a free market society, right? We agree on that, right? Now, sometimes in a free market society, there's not many safety nets. So you need a little bit of safety nets here and there. Socialism is like a drug. Okay, it needs to be medicated very sparingly, very little bit. Okay, we need to fund the police. We need to fund the hospitals. We need to fund whatever. We need to fund roads.
Public education.
Hold on. Let me finish this point though. Yeah, exactly. We gotta fund things we need. Representation, taxation with representation, right? But it's socialism, so you use it as a medication. But when you use it without being prescribed and you use it overly, you get addicted like a drug. It gets addicting, and then you become a drug addict, and then you fail, then you become corrupt, and then you start stealing, and then and then everything goes downhill after that, and it just goes. That's what happens when you become addicted to drugs. So socialism is like a drug. Use it sparingly.
So all I can say is this, and I totally agree with that. But all I want, the America that, what's bothering me is, one, the way the left portrays the right, which is totally inaccurate. We are the party of freedom.
Right.
And I ask that you guys post this video far and wide, because people need to hear this stuff.
Yeah.
We need to fight against these people.
Yeah.
These people are going to ruin the country that we grew up in, that we love, that we know.
Yeah.
Our kids will never know what it is like to be able to go outside and play till the street lights come on.
Right. Because without wearing a mask. Oh, you got to wear a mask, kid. Put your mask on. You know what I mean? All these regulations that you think it's making you safer, it's not. It's just it's really just it's to tear down this greatest country on the planet. Hong Kong was the last free country in the East. It's gone now. Hong Kong has been taken over by China. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about this. Just happened this year. Last year, Hong Kong was a free market capitalist country. Now gone. They lost it.
And I'll tell you another thing too. They talk about how Trump didn't respond well to the coronavirus and how 107,000 people is too many people to lose.
Right. It's supposed to be 2.2 million.
There is 318 million people in the United States of America. 107,000 people is less than 1% of the population.
Joe, they said in the beginning that they estimated 2.2 million people were going to die. So if you compare 2.2 million to the 100,000, which is probably not even real, that's probably around 60,000, because there are people who just caught coronavirus and died. Doesn't mean they died of coronavirus. So let's put that on the table first. We know that's a fact. Everyone knows that's a fact. All the false positives going around. So let's add that too. So let's see, 2.2 million to not even 100,000. I think you did a good job. I think the CDC's job is to control the disease, not Trump's job. Trump's job is to make sure the states have what they need.
Yeah, here's the thing that drives me nuts. They want to blame COVID on Trump. First of all, Trump isn't in charge of the states. The governors are in charge of their own state. Yes. Secondly,
tell them that. Delegated.
Nancy Pelosi called Trump a xenophobe, said that there was no reason to shut down the border to China, went to Chinatown and pandered and said, oh, come down here, visit us. Everything's good. And so then turns around when they realize, okay, this is a little bit something serious. And then they say he didn't shut down the border to China fast enough.
Even Fauci said, it's okay, everything's going to be fine. It's just a weak drug.
But which one is it? Is he a xenophobe and he shut down the border unnecessarily, or did he not shut it down fast enough? I mean, they just literally go whatever way the wind blows.
I think it was February 22nd. Anthony Fauci was on CNN, whatever he was on, and they asked him, "Is this going to be an issue? Should Americans worry?" He said, "No, this is not going to be a problem. Everything's going to be fine." Anthony frickin' Fauci said that. So if it's Trump's fault, then we got to look at it's definitely Fauci's fault. Then.
First of all, Trump, you can't put the blame on Trump, but that's all they do is put the blame on Trump.
Yeah.
Secondly, Trump was trying to, before this all happened, he was trying to say, we need to be self-reliant as a country. We need to stop importing everything. We need to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. so we can make everything ourselves and not be relying on all other countries. What happens? The COVID actually proved his point perfectly. Everything, PPEs were coming in from China and from out of the country. Ventilators were coming from outside the country. Everything we needed, we had trouble getting in the beginning because we weren't manufacturing everything here. That's what Trump had been trying to do for years, was bring all the manufacturing back to the U.S., make us self-reliant again. Then he jumps into overdrive. He gets a whole bunch of private companies to convert their factories to start making PPEs, to start making ventilators. Ford started making ventilators. The guy that owns MyPillow started making PPEs. I mean, he jumped into action.
That's crazy. No one's talking about that.
Now we have so many ventilators. Every single country in the world is asking for our excess.
Yeah. And Joe, we gotta go to a break. So let's hear your closing remarks and everything we just talked about.
All I want to say is this: in remarks to everything that you guys said, it's brilliant, and I want to applaud you guys, because in a time of terror, you guys are a voice in the light.
Thank you.
So keep doing what you're doing.
That. Thank you.
And don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing. But I want to say this: I ask that everybody truly research your points and truly research what is being said about our President of the United States of America. Absolutely. He is not a bad man. He is a hero. And time and history will judge all presidents. And you mark my words when I say this.
Yep.
Trump will go down as one of the greatest presidents this country has ever seen.
I absolutely agree.
Since 2016, he has rallied the markets and made every American that has had money in the stock market a wealthy person.
Absolutely.
He has brought back manufacturing to this country. He has brought back jobs. He has made America great again. And I hope that in 2020, he can keep America great, and we can look forward to another 4 years of prosperity and advancement in the United States of America.
Yep.
And I pray that everybody does their research and votes Trump 2020.
Yep. Amen,
Absolutely.
Joe. So thanks for coming on, dude. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for coming on. God
Thanks
bless
so
you.
much for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Anytime.
God bless. Take it easy.
Have a good one,
All
man.
right, bye.
You too. Bye.
And we're going to break right now. So.
Wow. Yo, blood. Hey, try 2020, I'm about that. Touch my head, I doubt that. 2A never go without that. These days trying to shut us down, but I know we gon' bounce back. I rep that red, white, and blue. Just watch how we bounce back. Can't wait to see this when we win the election. Easy on my feet, so I'm mega stepping. To all the liberals, I'm keeping my weapon. Been making hatches to show them I'm flexing like ooh, 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 ooh. Start the beat, ayy. I'm gon' keep it simple. They let Planned Parenthood stay open, but said churches run essential. And I know it's hard to keep your faith in God, but it seems like the world against you. But that word is too official, like a referee with a whistle. Ooh. I'm not a victim, cause I am a victor. Not a loser, cause I am a winner. And they say I'm a sellout because they disagree. Call me coon, Uncle Time, but at least I can say I'm free. Yo, man. Hey, try 2020, I'm about that. Touch my head, I doubt that. 2A never go without that. These days trying to shut us down, but I know we gon' bounce back. I rep that red, white, and blue. Just watch how we bounce back. Can't wait to see this when we win the election. Easy on my feet, so I'm mega stepping. To all the liberals, I'm keeping my weapon. Been making hatches to show them I'm flexing like ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, try 2020, I'm about that. Touch my head, I doubt that. 2A never go without that. These days trying to shut us down, but I know we gon' bounce back. I rep that red, white, and blue. Just watch how we bounce back. Can't wait to see this when we win the election. Easy on my feet, so I'm mega stepping. To all the liberals, I'm keeping my weapon. Been making hatches to show them I'm flexing like ooh, 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 ooh.
We will shut you down, we will cite you, and if we need to, we will arrest you, and we will take you to jail.
The key word, everybody here keeps talking about ideology and politics. Money. 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 Donald Trump has been very, very good for baseball. He has been wonderful for the industry. Your boss acknowledged as much a number of months ago during the campaign.
Les Moonves,
Donald Trump, huh?
It was Les Moonves who acknowledged
Les Moonves also acknowledged it, but so did the head of CNN.
But that means what? If ratings are up, that means what?
The ratings are up. It means you can't do without Donald Trump. You would be lost without Donald Trump.
Well, that is what he says.
Ted, you know that's not true.
CNN's ratings would be in the toilet without Donald Trump.
You know that's not true. You're playing for laughs. You've lived through enough presidencies to know
Hold on a
there
second,
will be more
Brian.
presidents.
What were the ratings before Trump and what are the ratings now?
I would say we might be up 20, we might be up 30%, we might be up 40%. If we go back down 40%, that's okay too.
Well, it may not be okay,
Of course it is. No, but hold on. I reject the premise that these networks are making so much money off of Trump and thus we benefit from it.
Tell me for a moment, if you will, let's get away from CNN then, all right? Sensitive subject.
No.
Let's go to MSNBC. Is there a moment of the day when they are not focusing on Donald Trump or some intimately related subject? It is essentially, I know everyone's...
Welcome back to part two. Damn, that was a really good part one. Joe I like having Joe on. He sees it the way it is.
Yeah, he's passionate. He sees the truth for what it is.
Yeah, but
he's good to have on. He's a good guest.
So after everything we just said in part one, it brings us to the next follow-up. What happened after that was the riots, Kenosha, cars being destroyed, buildings being burned, people going crazy. And there's this 17-year-old kid. What's his name?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
So let's show this a quick little rundown of what happened real quick. So when I first saw this, I'm like, what is this kid doing? I'll be honest with you, I still don't know what this kid was doing. But I looked into it. Turned out he got a permit. He did everything right. He did everything legal. He wanted to go out and help out and defend whatever.
This is what drives me nuts, is that, first of all, I look at all the rioting and then the whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation, and I think how unnecessary it was. Yeah. If the media didn't completely lie and make up a narrative with the whole Jacob Blake, you wouldn't have had the riots to begin with.
Right.
Because they lied about that, this led to the rioting, which led to the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, and then they lied about everything to do with Kyle Rittenhouse.
Right.
They made it seem like he crossed state lines with a weapon and that he came there to cause trouble. Now all the facts are coming out. Here's what really happened. He worked there that morning. He's a lifeguard.
Okay.
So he was there because he was working.
Yeah.
After that, he went and he was cleaning up graffiti off buildings.
Yeah.
He was
there.
there.
Oh, by the way, the police were aware of who he was.
He was
why
there to
he had a
help.
weapon. The cop that he walked up to at the end when he had his hands up, and everyone's like, "Why didn't they shoot him?" That cop saw him earlier and knew who he was.
Yep. So he started lifeguarding. Then he wanted to help out. He was helping scrub graffiti off of buildings. Then a friend of his and like people they knew, they owned a car dealership and 2 mechanics. They said, "We need your help. There's not enough police. They're not able to protect our businesses. We need your help." So the media lied and said that he crossed state lines with that weapon. It wasn't. His friend, that weapon was already in Wisconsin. So he didn't cross state lines with the weapon. It was given to him.
Yeah.
And so now with everything going on, how crazy the rioting, and they're beating up people for no reason. They're beating up old people. Yep. They're beating up people just for being white. It's crazy.
And
so
black
I don't blame him for wanting to have protection, and especially if you're going to defend,
these kids are
a building. If you're going to defend a business, you definitely need a weapon.
These kids are brainwashed, dude.
Absolutely.
They're brainwashed. It's just. So, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say.
So everything breaks out with the Kyle Rittenhouse, and he's being attacked by a mob. Right. I mean, you see...
They could have took the gun and killed him easily.
There was a felon with a gun. We find out later he's a felon. He's not even allowed to have a handgun. He had a handgun. Yeah. Kyle Rittenhouse got hit in the head with a skateboard. He got kicked in the face. I mean, and so he tried retreating.
Why would you attack somebody with an AK or AR-15?
That's what I don't understand.
Why would you do that?
I mean, that is just insanity to attack someone with a weapon and not expect them to use it.
I don't get it, man.
So he tries running. And what happens is the felon with the handgun puts the gun in the air and fires a shot. Now he's running away, so he doesn't see that the gun's pointing in the air. So of course, you're running, you hear a gunshot, you're going to turn around to see what's going on. You don't want to get shot in the back. So that's when he turns around because the guy shot the gun in the air. And then there's the 2 people attacked him. At that point, when somebody attacks you, whether they have a weapon or not, if you have a gun, you have no choice because they could take, even if they're unarmed, they could take your gun from you. So when they get into close quarters, you have to defend yourself. So sure enough, He shoots 2 people. They end up dying. He actually stops. The first person he shoots, he ended up shooting 3 people. The first person he shot, he actually stopped to see if they were alive and attend to them, but then the mob attacked him again, so he had to flee again. So then he shoots another guy. He has no choice. And then he ends up shooting, the guy with the gun.
With the arm.
He shot him in the arm or the hand, and that was the guy who had the gun that actually started all this.
Half off. I'm pretty sure he lost his arm.
But that is actually the guy that started everything.
Yeah.
If he didn't fire that pistol in the air, which he should have never had, he's a felon. He's not allowed to have any gun, let alone handgun. If he never fired that shot in the air, Kyle Rittenhouse would have kept running.
Yeah.
He was fleeing and retreating, which is what he's supposed to do. You're supposed to retreat, and then if you can't retreat, then you're allowed to defend yourself. Yeah. So the only thing that Kyle Rittenhouse did wrong is that he was 17 years old with a weapon.
Yeah.
So that is literally the only thing that he did wrong. And other than that, I mean, it's a cut and dry case of self-defense.
You know what this reminds me of? So you remember back when Charlottesville, when those alt-right neo-Nazis had their little rally, and they're like, "Look, this is proof that America's racist." Well, Antifa showed up. And they antagonated them, and they fought, and it was a bloody. Cops had to retreat. It was so bad, and a girl got hit by a car and died. So you think about that. And the first thing they want to do is they want to point to the neo-Nazis and see, they're violent. Of course, we could all agree on their ideology is completely warped. They have no part in the public discussion with their racist ideology. Okay, we agree on that. But let's see what they were doing. Okay, they had their little signs and their little torches, and they were walking around, whatever. If they would have just let them do their stupid little rally and ignore them, nothing would have happened. They would have went home, back to their little basements, back to the little neo-Nazi house, wherever, and that's it. They're back into the dungeons in the depths of America where no one knows who they are.
Yeah. This
all you got to do is ignore it.
This whole situation is a tragedy. Another thing, before all of this popped off and he was forced to use his weapon, he had a first aid kit.
Yeah.
He was tending to people that were hurt.
That, yeah.
So he was actually taking care of people that had minor injuries.
That's why he was there to begin with.
And if they had more serious injuries, he told them, "Look, this is where the nearest hospital is. There's nothing I can do. You got to go there." But so he was there to help people. He was there to help the city. He started by cleaning up the graffiti. Then he tried to help people he knew defend their businesses because businesses were getting torched and destroyed and people were losing their whole livelihood.
Yep.
So, I mean, he was there to help. And now, I mean, it's a cut and dry case of self-defense, so he's going to get off.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. He's a person that was there to help. No, he is going to be traumatized for the rest of his life. He didn't want to kill anybody, and you could tell he was there to help. He did. So even if he gets the charges get dismissed or he beats him in court, which he should because it's cut and dry self-defense, his life is ruined.
Yeah.
I mean, and honestly,
Dude,
when I look at this whole
face
situation,
is so noticeable. No one's ever anyone who sees him,
everybody's going to remember
any job he applies for.
Yeah,
I remember you right away.
And it's sad because when I look into this, I blame 2 entities for this entire thing.
Antifa.
The media.
Yeah.
Because they lied about Jacob Blake, which started the riots, and then they lied about that, and they just continue to lie and stoke the flames. And so I blame the mainstream media, and I blame the governor, Tony Evers.
Yeah.
The law enforcement and the police were completely undermanned because he refused help from Trump and the National Guard. Who knows? If they would have had that extra 500 for National Guard, this may have never happened.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's really who I put the blame on.
Yeah.
The mainstream media and Tony Evers, and it's just ridiculous. They'll never admit to it, obviously, but they have a lot of blood on their hands. Yeah. I mean, they're lying and deceiving, and they're driving a wedge between both sides of this country, and they have so much blood on their hands because they're starting all of this.
Right, and it's the quote that says, "You don't piss on my leg and then say that it's raining."
Exactly.
They're the ones dividing the country, but then they point and say it's Trump.
Yeah.
They're the ones pushing people into go out and protest, knowing damn well it means go out and riot.
Yeah. CNN,
shut down your business, shut down your state.
CNN had
this is Trump's America, guys. This is Trump's America, guys.
CNN had a newscaster, and he was on there, and in the background, there's literally a business on fire, and it says violent protests. They take that off the screen, then a couple seconds later, it comes back up on the screen, and now violence gone.
fucking
The
point
video
it to
is
people.
graphic, very hard
8 p.m.
to
curfew
watch.
ordered
Let's
after
set the
violent
scene first.
protests
Walk
over
us
police
through
shooting of
what
unarmed
you're
black man in Wisconsin. That's what it's saying underneath there with Beans Blitzer.
There are a lot of investigations.
Decent
And then
summary.
look, goes away.
Trying to figure out what led
Someone's
up
saying,
to
"Oh shit!"
Jacob Blake being shot. But what we do
Now
know
it comes
for
back.
sure is that
Exact
people
same
are
thing.
angry.
8 p.m.
They
curfew
have
ordered after
expressed that
protests.
anger.
They just removed.
Now it just says protesters.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
seriously, we see the fire in the background. We know what's going on,
Yeah.
but they keep lying about
Yeah.
this. Let's call this what it is. This is
They
rioting,
didn't recant
looting,
that either.
stealing,
They got caught
destruction.
and said nothing about it.
This is not.
Just ignore
This
it.
is not peaceful protests. This is not protest. We need to start calling this what it is. You know, it's rioting. It's looting. It's illegal.
Yeah.
It's not
And
peaceful.
it's being pushed
And
by the, like I said, the globalist foreign policy agenda by the left,
Yeah.
which is not just the Democrat. It's a global thing.
This is the last. America is the last frontier of freedom. Like Hong Kong fell.
Why do you think George Soros always funds the Democrat Party?
Absolutely.
Does he ever fund anyone that's an American business owner or anybody?
Because of the power that America is, these globalists that want a communist one world government, they need America to fall.
Yeah.
And they know that America is the last.
That's the last thing that has to happen.
It's the last frontier. We are the only thing standing in the way of globalism. So of course they're going so hard at it. Hong Kong just recently fell. It truly is. If America falls, you know, America and Trump are the last ones fighting for freedom. And once we fall, there's no going back. You're going to have socialist, communist, one world government.
I think of Nancy Pelosi at her house when the pandemic first started and everybody was poor, and everybody needed, and everybody lost their jobs. And she's on late night, whoever, I don't even know which, whenever, they're all the same, all the late night show. And she's showing off her ice cream collection, premier ice cream, like $100 ice cream, showing off her collection, eating it, going, look at it, show it real quick.
You're going to share with us from your home?
Chocolate.
Really?
Chocolate candy.
Oh, wow.
And this is something you can get through the mail.
Okay.
Never run out. Now show
me.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the episode of Cribs I never knew I needed. Oh, my. Wow.
Other people in our family go for some other flavors, but chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here.
Like, she's just awful. This lady is awful. She's smiling in your face, eating her ice cream while you're at home with no food, no job, wondering where you're going to get your next paycheck from. And then when Trump just signs something to give you that money, they want to block it.
They're fighting it.
She's
They're blocking
she's
it.
blocking your money and then saying it's not enough while she has ice cream in her freezer showing it off.
Now that $600 that was coming in extra for everybody's unemployment, that ended.
That's not enough.
Trump signed four executive orders trying to get you extra money, and they're fighting it tooth and nail.
Imagine if you're falling off a cliff and you need a rope. Someone needs to throw you a rope, right? And they're about to throw you a rope. They're about to throw you the rope. The rope's gonna, and she says, "No, hold on a second. That rope's not good enough. We gotta get a better one." And then you fall.
Yep. It's unbelievable.
It's the best analogy you can get.
Trump had no choice but to write those four executive orders because the Republicans kept going to the
He's
table.
abusing his power.
They made multiple offers, and the Democrats just shot them all down. And then the Democrats never even made a counteroffer or came forward with an offer. They don't want to make an offer. They want the country to suffer. They want the country to get angry, and they're literally like blackmailing, like Biden and the Democrats just recently. Oh well, yeah, all this rioting and protesting, and yeah, this is needless, and but you know, this is Trump's America. If you vote us in November, this will all end. They're literally blackmailing you, saying, "Oh yeah, this rioting is going to continue. You know, if you vote Trump in. So you know, but if you vote us in, we'll end it." Yeah. That is blackmail, and it's nonsense too because he says this is Trump's America. You want to see all the cities that are rioting and looting, and the cities that are burning? They're all Democrat-run states and cities. It's truly incredible how Trump takes the brunt for everything. He's not in charge of the states.
As of right now, Antifa.com still takes you to Joe Biden website.
I know. I saw that this morning. It's unbelievable.
So yeah, he could take that down easily,
Yeah.
but he chooses not to.
And don't take our word for it. Type in yourself. www.antifa.com. It immediately redirects you to Joe Biden's
And
website.
I know people right now are going to say, well, anybody can make a domain and redirect it to that. Yeah, I know, but you can always block domains. You can always block it too.
And Biden's campaign, how much money does he have coming in there? It takes 2 seconds to block other domains. So he could easily do that. Why does it immediately redirect you there? Because that's what he wants.
Can you imagine if www.kkk.com took you to Trump's website?
That's essentially what
he
we're
would
talking
take it down
about.
immediately.
Yeah, that's essentially what we're talking about. And I had a buddy ask me, do you really think that Antifa, is a democratic, organization?
Yes.
So this just proves it.
Okay, Karl Marx wrote about it, and we talked about this before, in Communist Manifesto. You can read it, go pick up the book. It's a little pamphlet, basically, and it says it right in there. We support the social democrats in all the countries.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, if everything going on right now and then Antifa directing you to Joe Biden's website, I mean, if there was any questions before, now we know for sure. Antifa is a Democrat-led and Democrat-funded
and UN
terror
funded
organization.
Yeah.
They are trying to destroy America and topple freedom.
Yeah, when the UN was first formed, it came out of the League of Nations and it kind of reformed the League of Nations, and its only purpose was to make sure that countries didn't get out of line and we could stand together. Now it's turning into this big political mess.
It's just
they're the fascists.
It's a globalist entity now.
That's the new
100%.
Roman. It's the new Romans.
Absolutely.
It's just a different name.
The UN
Romans.
They hide their like globalism, and they try and make it look nice and say it's unity. We're trying to make utopia.
They lie
and
about
everybody
climate
be
change.
united.
Climate change is real too, but they lie about it. They tell you things that aren't true about it.
But it's like
I'm going to
literally-
get into that next episode. I'm going to talk about a little bit about climate change.
Yeah, we can dive into that now. But yeah,
Not now. No, we'll get into that next time.
next time. Let's do next time. So,
but I want to finish about the RNC.
Yeah, definitely.
So the RNC was okay. Some of it was tacky, some of it was a little scripted. I thought Trump was great, but the two speakers that I think everybody should go hear and listen to is number one, Jack Brewer, lifelong Democrat. Let me just play a couple seconds of his speech real quick.
Okay.
I'm Jack Brewer, a former 3-time NFL team captain, college professor, coach, husband, son, and father. I'm also a lifelong Democrat, but I support Donald Trump.
Hello, America. My name is Vernon Jones, and I'm a state representative from the great state of Georgia. As you can see, I'm a man of color, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, too. You may be wondering, why is a lifelong Democrat speaking at the Republican National Convention? And that's a fair question, and here's your answer. The Democratic Party does not want black people to leave their mental plantation. We've been forced to be there for decades and generations. But I have news for Joe Biden. We are free. We are free people with free minds.
Lifelong Democrat. Used to be a friend of Obama. He was part of the, he was in with the establishment basically. And after the impeachment, he voted no to impeach because he knew this is ridiculous. What are we doing? What are we doing with our country? Why are we doing this? He knew that. He stood up. He's the only person who's doing it right now. There's a few people, Tulsi Gabbard, kind of, sort of. But he switched parties. He's now a Republican. So I thought that everybody should listen to him and what he has to say. And the other one is David Dorn's wife. David Dorn was a police officer who lost his life because of Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And they shot him and killed him. And what did they do? They live streamed it.
Yeah.
They live streamed the death of an officer.
Yeah, he was
a black officer.
Yeah, he was retired.
A black life that doesn't matter, I guess.
Wasn't he retired?
Yes.
And he was going to protect a pawn shop.
So
and he came up to him, shot him right in the head.
So here's his wife at the RNC.
David is never coming back to me. He was murdered by people who didn't know and just didn't care. He would have done anything to help them. Violence and destruction are not legitimate forms of protest. They do not safeguard black lives. They only destroy them. President Trump understands this, has offered federal help to restore order in our communities. In a time when police departments are short on resources and manpower, we need that help. We should accept that help. We must heal before we can affect change. But we cannot heal amid devastation and chaos. President Trump knows we need more Davids in our communities, not fewer. We need to come together in peace and remember that every life is precious.
All right, and it's just I when I first saw that, I was tearing up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I teared
It's
up.
emotional. It really is.
And so those are real emotions. Those are real speeches from off the cuff, real speeches. Dana White got on stage at the RNC. He didn't have no paper, no script, no nothing. Off the cuff. This is real. This is they meet. You want to know why? Me and Justin, I wrote down Jack Brewer, David Dorn, and Riots. I don't need a script like the DNC. When you watch the DNC, like AOC's like this. This country needs to get a new president because Donald Trump is bad. All the speakers do the same thing. They're all reading. It's all pre-told. This is what you have to say. This is what you have to say. Say this, say this, say this. Do what I say.
Well, that's the thing.
We come here off the cuff because this is what we believe in.
Yeah. Why do you need a script? Because you can't. Because you can't keep all your lies straight.
Right.
When everything's lies, you got to write it all down.
It's all fake.
Exactly.
Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that between Joe Biden and Donald Trump between now and November. Okay. Yeah. Look at who's on the cuff. Look who's off the cuff. Look who has to read. Okay.
Yep.
That'll tell you who's sincere and who's real.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. When you're telling the truth, you don't need to write it down. Yeah. When you're telling the truth, it's easy. It comes, when it's coming from the heart and you're passionate about it and you know what you're talking about, there's no reason for a script. Right. So, you see the big difference. Of course, the RNC and the DNC, they're both, they're in politics. They're trying to get votes. So, of course, you're going to have a little bit of that tackiness. But the big difference for me was the DNC, all they did was lie and talk about Trump is bad.
Yeah.
Bad, bad is Trump. Orange man's bad. That's literally all they said.
So I guess
so
bad.
Fake.
I guess bad is adding new jobs like Obama. Let's play Obama real quick.
But for those folks who've lost their job right now because a plant went down to Mexico, that isn't going to make you feel better. And so what we have to do is to make sure that folks are trained for the jobs that are coming in now, because some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. And when somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for, that he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do? There's no answer to it. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have? And usually the answer is he doesn't have an answer.
Well, we didn't need a magic wand. We just needed President Donald Trump in the White House.
Yeah, you need a magic wand to bring back. How many jobs did he bring back?
It's just crazy that was the difference I saw. I saw all the DNC. It was all scripted. It was all lies. All they didn't talk about any policy. They just talked about how Trump was so bad.
So bad.
And that we need a new president. Then you go to the RNC and
it's all about. Let's get to work.
It's all off the cuff.
It's all about. Get through this.
It's all about getting the country back on track. Talking about freedom and how we love the country and we're patriots. And it's just you could tell they're not scripted. They're telling the truth.
Yeah, this is not the same Republican Party from Bush.
And they're talking about.
It's just not the same.
They're talking about policy, what they've been doing, and what they're going to continue to do. You didn't hear any policy from Biden. All he pretty much said was Trump is bad and I'm better. That's essentially all it was.
By the way.
And now Biden doesn't even want to debate Trump. You know why? Because why are they hiding him in the basement?
Because he can't talk.
Because he doesn't even know where he is half the time.
Listen, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I'd be sitting here trying to be pro-Republican in a podcast, I would say you're nuts.
Yeah.
I never liked George Bush, never liked John McCain.
Yeah,
I don't care that he passed away.
Yeah.
The dude was a neocon war hawk that just wanted to go overseas and kill people.
Yeah, I never thought.
And then Mitt Romney, what is he? I never cared about Republicans. Nope. I never was a Republican.
Me neither.
I thought I was more a Democrat, but I never liked any of the parties. I never voted until recently.
I was always.
I just got registered to vote in 2016.
I was. It's funny that you say that. So I was always, independent libertarian.
Yeah.
I never registered to vote until 2016. I actually wanted to vote for Trump because I started looking into him,
Yeah.
started looking at what he wanted to do, and so I actually registered too late to vote.
Whatever.
So I couldn't vote for him in 2016, but I never registered to vote, but in my mind I was always an independent libertarian.
Yeah.
I finally registered Republican, and you know why? I never thought I would do that, but it came down to it. This is a two-party system. Let's get real. Now, what party aligns more with my values? And it's not even close. The Republicans want freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. They want you to be able to make your own choices, and that's what lines up with me.
Yeah.
I'm a conservative Christian. I mean, and the Democrats have gotten so radical that they don't align with any of my values anymore.
And, I just want to close with this. This is my last thing I want to say. We finally have a party. For my entire life, I thought politics was a big joke, that they were all a bunch of liars, and I was right. They were. Because now that Trump came in with his lightning rod, you're seeing all the neoconservatives from before. They're all on the left now.
Yep.
George Bush is supporting Joe Biden. Mitt Romney endorses Joe Biden. He voted to impeach the president for no reason. John McCain, before he died, was trashing the. So now we know the real deal. Now we know that was a one-party system. For our entire lives, we had one party.
It was
Okay?
It was told.
The last
told you as a
last real
two-party.
president was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And then now, from Ronald Reagan till now, we had just one party.
It was
so
the
now we
status
finally
quo.
have a real party that are they're not career politicians. Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, Devin Nunes, Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Donald Trump. These are real people that actually want to make this country better. They want to bring jobs back here. They want to cut your taxes. They want to deregulate the market. They want to get away from all the Paris deals and Iran deals and trade deals that don't help us. It just help the globalists, United Nation, whatever, in Jeddah. I don't care about that. This is our country. It doesn't mean we have to hate other countries. It has to do with making ourselves better. And when we're better, then we can help other people too.
Absolutely. It's like I said, it's this is a huge election coming up. And I never thought, that I would get into politics. I never thought that I even cared about politics. But it's literally gotten to the point where if I want to remain free, I need to do something about it. I need to vote. I need to talk to people and try and, stomp out some of these mainstream media lies and try and at least I tried. If people don't want to listen to me, fine. But at least I tried to reach out. I tried to tell people you're being lied to and you're being led down a road of no return. If we go socialist, it's going to lead to communist. It's going to lead to tyranny. It's going to lead to death, despair, and destruction. And there's going to be no coming back from that. So, I mean, we are literally fighting for our country right now. We are literally fighting for our freedom right now. And, it's not even Trump. Yeah, I do support Trump. I don't lift him up on a pedestal. I just like that he's not a politician. And that's why they hate him. The Democrats and the Republicans for years, they all came out of Ivy League schools. They all came from wealthy families. And no matter what party won, it was the same thing. Yep. It was disguised as a two-party system, but it was really a one-party system. Yep. Why do you think when Trump came in and blew up the swamp, why they all got together and they all hate him now? Because he went against the elitists, he went against the status quo, because he loves America and he loves Americans, and that's literally why he did it. There was no reason for him other than that to get into and run for president. Yeah. He was already a billionaire. Everybody loved him then. Now half the country hates him. So literally there was nothing but negatives, except for him trying to fight for America and its freedom. Yep. And so I'm just like I said, I'll support, people are like, oh, everyone that likes Trump is a racist and this and that and a misogynist. Not at all. You know what? 2024, Candace Owens. I would love if she ran. I would vote for her. I really would.
We'll see.
I mean, it doesn't matter that she's black. It doesn't matter that she's a woman. Her politics and her policies line up great. I don't care if it's a man. I don't care if it's a woman. What I care about is what's in their heart and what they're gonna do. Are you gonna stand up for my freedoms? Are you gonna stand up for our country, or are you gonna give in to the globalists? That's what truly matters to me.
Well,
so
we'll end it on that note. So
all right.
Away.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks again for watching episode 6. God bless you, and God bless America.
will shut you down. We will cite you. And if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail.